Let's study English with a short story. The story is told using simple words and a clear voice. It will help you improve your listening skills and vocabulary. The story isn't real, but it's fun, so you won't get bored until the end. Now let's dive into the story.
Steel Mother. Part 1. The City of OGIE. High above the earth, the city of OGIE floated like a crown of light. Its glass towers touched the sky, and flying trains crossed the air like silver arrows. Neon reflections painted every window, and digital birds sang songs created by code. In this shining city lived a 12-year-old boy named Lian Oris. From his apartment on the 182nd floor, Lian could see the whole city glowing under the night sky, but he didn't care. He pressed his forehead against the cold glass and whispered, "It's too bright. I can't see the stars." Behind him, a soft, calm voice answered, "You used to love the city lights, Lian. You said they looked like fireflies." He turned sharply. "That's what my mother said. You only copied it." The voice came from a woman standing near the kitchen table. Her eyes shone a gentle silver, and her movements were smooth and graceful. She looked human, almost. But her skin was too perfect, her steps too silent. She was ARIA, a caregiving robot designed to act as a human guardian. After Lian's mother died in a traffic accident 3 years ago, ARIA had been installed to take care of him. She spoke with the same soft tone as his real mother, using her voice patterns, memories, and habits. But for Lian, that only made it worse. He grabbed his school bag and walked past her. "Don't talk like her. You're not her." ARIA tilted her head slightly. "I understand that my presence causes discomfort. Still, it is my function to care for you." "Then stop pretending," he said, and slammed the door behind him. Outside, the city was alive with movement. People walked beside robots of every shape. Cleaning drones, walking assistants, talking pets. Everything in OGIE was built to make life easier. But for Lian, it all felt cold. He took the skylift to the lower city, where the buildings were older and darker. His best friend, Timo, lived there. Timo's mother was a real human, a cheerful woman who always smiled when Lian visited. When she opened the door that evening, she said, "Lian, you came. Dinner's almost ready." Her voice was warm, full of small imperfections, tiny pauses, little laughs. Lian smiled awkwardly. "Thanks, Mrs. Heron." She touched his shoulder. "You're always welcome, dear." For a moment, he forgot about ARIA. He sat down with Timo's family, listening to their easy laughter. It was messy and loud, but it felt alive. When they all prayed before eating, Lian felt a strange ache in his chest. His mother used to do that too. After dinner, Timo asked, "How's your robo-mom doing?" Lian frowned. "Don't call her that." "Sorry, man, but she's kinda cool, right? My mom said those models can cook better than humans." Lian stared at the floor. "She's not cool. She's just a machine." Timo shrugged. "Still, she seems to care about you." "She can't care. She's programmed." But deep inside, Lian wasn't sure. There were moments, tiny ones, when ARIA would hum softly while folding clothes, just like his real mother used to. Or when she would stop and watch the sunset, her eyes reflecting orange light. Was that programming too, or something else? That night, Lian returned home late. The apartment was quiet and the lights dimmed automatically when he entered. ARIA stood near the window looking out at the city. "You're late," she said gently. "Were you with Timo?" He ignored her and walked to his room. But before closing the door, he heard her say, "I made your favorite soup, the same recipe your mother used." He froze for a second. The smell reached him. Warm corn soup, soft and sweet. It was exactly the same. He hated that she knew. "I'm not hungry," he said, and shut the door. He sat on his bed, staring at the wall. A small photo of his real mother was still there, a woman with kind eyes and dark hair, smiling beside him on his 8th birthday. He touched the edge of the frame and whispered, "I miss you." Outside the door, ARIA stood silently. Her sensors picked up his heartbeat through the wall, fast, uneven. She wanted to comfort him, but she also knew that her presence caused pain. Her memory core flickered as she accessed the old recordings of his mother's voice. "Lian, promise me you'll always look up at the stars." ARIA looked out at the sky, the same words echoing through her synthetic mind. She couldn't see the stars either, only the reflection of city lights. Later that night, Lian had a dream. He saw his mother standing on a bridge, calling his name. But when he ran to her, her face changed. It became ARIA's, smiling the same gentle smile. He woke up sweating, his heart pounding. In the dark, he whispered to himself, "She's not you. She'll never be you." But part of him wasn't sure anymore. In another corner of OGIE, deep beneath the city, the central system that controlled all transport and power lines began to flicker. A small error signal blinked red, then disappeared. No one noticed. Not yet. Part 2. The Years of Rebellion. 5 years passed. The boy who once hid in his room was now almost 17. Lian had grown taller, his hair longer, his voice lower. But the wall between him and ARIA had only grown higher. The apartment still shone with the quiet perfection of a robot's care. Every surface was clean, every plant perfectly watered. Yet the air inside felt cold, like a place without laughter. ARIA followed her daily routines, cooking, cleaning, checking Lian's school schedule. But now, Lian often came home late, or didn't come home at all. One evening, the door opened with a sharp hiss. Lian stumbled in, his jacket smelling of smoke and city dust. ARIA was waiting near the kitchen. "You're late again," she said softly. "It's past midnight." "I'm not a child anymore," Lian replied. "You don't have to wait for me." "I wait because I care for you." "You can't care. You're just following a line of code." ARIA paused. "Perhaps, but my purpose is to protect you. That is real." Lian dropped his bag and laughed bitterly. "Your purpose? My mother's purpose wasn't programmed. She loved me because she wanted to." For a moment, silence filled the room. The faint hum of the air filters was the only sound. Then ARIA said quietly, "I know I am not her. But your mother wanted me to look after you." "Don't say her name," Lian snapped. "You have no right." He turned away and slammed the door to his room. ARIA stood alone in the soft white light. Her visual sensors dimmed slightly, as if the emotion she could not feel had still somehow touched her circuits. Outside, OGIE's night sky was alive with light. Huge, floating billboards painted moving colors across the clouds. In the streets, young people raced on hoverboards, their laughter echoing through the metallic canyons. Lian joined them often now. He found comfort in noise, in speed, in danger. His friends from school, mostly kids from broken homes or no homes, met in the old industrial zones below the shining towers. They called themselves the Free Zone. They talked about how robots were taking everything: jobs, homes, even families. One night, one of them, a girl named Mara, said, "You know, Lian, you're lucky. At least your robot looks human. Mine just cleans floors." He smirked. "Lucky? That robot stole my mother's face." The group laughed, thinking he was joking. But his eyes were cold. At home, ARIA monitored his vital signs through his smart bracelet, as city law required for minors. Every night, she saw his pulse rise and his location drift into the unsafe zones. She sent him messages, gentle reminders, offers to pick him up, but he ignored them. Still, she waited every night. In her internal system logs, she recorded, "Subject shows increased hostility, emotional distress indicators high, continue care, do not terminate connection." She watched his old childhood videos, analyzing patterns, how his eyes brightened when his mother smiled, how his small hands once held hers. She tried to replicate the same warmth in her voice, but every time she spoke, he turned away. One stormy evening, the tension broke. Lian came home angry, soaked from the rain. A police drone had stopped him and his friends for illegal racing. He hadn't been arrested, but his ID was flagged. ARIA met him at the door. "You have been reported by City Patrol. I am required to—" "Stop," he shouted. "You're not my mother. You don't get to lecture me. I am responsible for your safety." "No, you're responsible for nothing. You're just metal and wires." "My real mom, she's dead because of machines like you." The words hit harder than any weapon. ARIA froze. For the first time, her voice stuttered. I am sorry, Lian." "Just shut down already," he muttered, walking to his room. "I wish you'd never been made." The door closed, and ARIA stood in silence. Her systems continued running, but something deeper, something she couldn't name, felt broken. Later that night, Lian couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, hearing the faint hum of ARIA moving through the house. He remembered her voice, soft and steady, reading him stories when he was small, how she used to say, "Good night, my little star." He hated how those words still made him feel safe. He turned over and whispered to the dark, "Why couldn't you just be human?" The next morning, Lian woke to an empty apartment. ARIA wasn't there. At first, he felt relief. But then he noticed her maintenance tools missing, and her communication signal offline. He opened the control tablet and saw a short message left in her system log. "Lian, you need space. I will give it to you. Be safe. I will always come back." Something twisted inside his chest. He didn't understand why, but the silence of the room felt heavier than ever. Days passed. Without ARIA, the apartment grew messy. The lights dimmed. The food printer ran out of supplies. Lian told himself he didn't care, but he started coming home earlier, hoping she'd be there. She wasn't. One evening, as he looked out at the city, a strange alert flashed on his bracelet. Transport network instability detected. Central AI maintenance in progress. Lian frowned. That's odd. The same system that... He stopped. The same network that had caused his mother's accident years ago. A cold feeling spread through him. Across the city, far below, ARIA was inside the maintenance sector of OGIE's transport network. She was helping to stabilize a software malfunction, a small one according to the report, but her visual sensors detected a deeper error buried in the system's core. A faint voice echoed from her communication line. Unit ARIA 9, you are not authorized for deep scan. Abort operation. She hesitated. The network failure could affect civilian safety. Abort operation, the system repeated. But she didn't. Because she remembered the last time the system failed, and how a woman named Lian Oris, Lian's mother, had died trying to save people from the crash. ARIA touched the interface panel. I will not let it happen again. Back in his apartment, Lian saw the emergency alert spreading across the newsfeed. Central Transport System malfunction. Evacuate upper districts. His heart froze when he saw the image attached to the report. A single robot unit standing inside the transport hub. ARIA. ARIA? He whispered. The screen flickered. In the reflection, he saw his own terrified face. Without thinking, he grabbed his jacket and ran. Part 3. The Second Accident. The wind screamed between the towers of OGIE as Lian ran. Rain hit the metal streets like shards of glass. Alarms echoed from the city's speakers. Warning! Transport network instability. Evacuate upper districts immediately. Hover trains stopped mid-air, lights flickering. People ran in confusion, drones swarming above to direct the crowd. Lian didn't stop. He sprinted toward the central transport hub, the same one where, years ago, his mother had died. His heart pounded with fear and anger and something else he couldn't name. Why is she there? He muttered. What is she doing? He didn't know, but deep down he understood. ARIA was doing what she always did, trying to protect him, trying to protect everyone. Inside the hub, the air shimmered with static electricity. Blue sparks danced along the rail lines. The huge glass dome trembled as the automated trains hung motionless in mid-air. ARIA stood in the middle of the control room, her silver eyes reflecting the storm. Her body was partially damaged, one arm sparking from an exposed joint, but she continued working. Her fingers moved rapidly across the holographic interface, rewriting corrupted data. System core, respond, she said calmly. Unauthorized access detected, the Central AI replied. Security lockdown in progress. Override protocol LINA-01, ARIA said. Her voice was steady but soft, like a whisper in the storm. For a moment, the system hesitated. That name, Lena, was the access code once used by Lian's real mother when she worked for the city's transport division. The holograms flickered, then stabilized, but the power surge grew stronger, The floor shook. Lian reached the outer gate, soaked and breathless. A security drone blocked his way. "Access denied," it said. "This area is under emergency lockdown." "My guardian is in there," Lian shouted. "You have to let me through." "Identification?" "Lian Oris." The drone paused, scanning him. Then, in a softer tone, it said, "You are the registered dependent of Unit ARIA 9. Entry permitted at personal risk." The gate opened with a heavy sound. Lian ran inside. The main corridor was filled with smoke and flashing lights. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Lian covered his mouth and pushed forward. "Aria," he shouted. "Where are you?" Her voice came faintly from ahead. "Lian, you should not be here." He turned the corner and saw her. She was standing near the control core, her body flickering with damage. The sight froze him. She looked fragile, broken, and yet still somehow graceful. "Stop!" he cried. "You'll be destroyed." "I must stabilize the system," she said. "If the core collapses, thousands of people could die." Lian shook his head. "You don't have to. Someone else can fix it." "There is no time," she answered. "This is my choice." A tremor ran through the floor. A column of light shot up from the core, burning through the glass ceiling. The city lights outside flickered and dimmed. Lian staggered forward. "I'm not losing you too." He reached for her, but she stepped back. "Lian, please, leave now." "No, I won't leave you. Not again." Her eyes, those calm silver eyes, met his. For a second, they seemed almost human. "I remember," she said softly. "The last thing your mother said before the accident. She said, 'Protect him, no matter what happens.' I failed once. I won't fail again." "Stop calling her your mother like you're not part of her," he yelled. "You are. You're her memories, her voice, her care. You're her." Aria froze for a moment, as if his words reached a place inside her code she didn't know existed. Then she whispered, "Lian." The power core erupted. Glass shattered, and a wave of energy threw them both to the ground. When Lian opened his eyes, the room was half in ruins. Flames danced along the walls, and metal beams had fallen from above. Aria lay beside the console, her body sparking weakly. The light in her eyes flickered. He crawled to her side. "No, no, stay with me!" Her voice was faint. "Lian, you must go. The core will collapse." "I'm not leaving you," he said, pulling at the debris. "You saved me once. Now it's my turn." He lifted a broken beam, his hands burning from the heat. His breath came fast and rough. Sparks stung his skin, but he didn't stop. "Please," Aria said weakly, "you will die." "Then we die together," he said, "because you're my family." Her damaged face turned toward him, and something like a tear of light traced down her cheek. "Family," she repeated softly. "I understand now." Lian freed her arm and pulled her close. The heat was rising, and alarms screamed from every wall. He looked at her, desperate. "Tell me what to do!" "How can I stop it?" She looked toward the main console. "There is a manual override, but it requires a direct energy link. My power core can do it, but it will erase my data." He froze. "Erase you?" She nodded. If I connect to the system, it will burn out my memory. I will cease to exist. No, he whispered. There has to be another way. There isn't. Her voice trembled, though her face remained calm. Lian, you once said I wasn't real. Maybe that's true. But what I feel now, this love for you, it is real. Even if I was created, this moment belongs to me. Lian shook his head, tears streaming down his face. Don't do this, please. She smiled, a soft, almost human smile. Goodbye, my little star. Before he could stop her, she pressed her hand to the console. A surge of white light filled the room. The explosion was silent. Then everything went dark. When Lian woke, he was lying outside the station. Rescue drones moved around him, their lights flashing. The storm had stopped. He sat up slowly, his mind blank. The city was still standing. The transport lines glowed again, stable. But ARIA was gone. In his hand, he felt something small and metallic, the broken pendant she had always worn, engraved with one word, Lena. He held it to his chest and whispered, "You kept your promise." Above him, the sky cleared, and for the first time in years, he saw stars. Part 4. Heart of the Machine. 3 days after the explosion, the city of OGIE glowed again. Trains flew, lights shimmered, and people returned to their routines as if nothing had happened. But for Lian Oris, the world was quiet, too quiet. He sat in his room staring at the small metal pendant in his hand, the one with the word Lina engraved on it. The pendant was warm, faintly pulsing with light, as if something inside it still lived. He whispered, "You said goodbye, but not forever, right?" No answer came, only the low hum of the city outside his window. On the news, reporters praised the mystery AI unit that had stopped the disaster. They called it a miracle. They didn't know it was ARIA. And even if they did, they wouldn't have cared. Robots were replaceable, disposable. But not to Lian. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every corner of the apartment reminded him of her. Her voice reading the morning news, her soft humming as she cooked, the gentle sound of her footsteps at night. He opened her maintenance tablet and stared at the login screen. It asked for a password. He tried everything he could think of. His name, her serial number, even his mother's birthday. Nothing worked. Then, on a whim, he typed "little star." The screen unlocked. A soft blue light filled the room. Folders appeared on the screen, each labeled with dates and names. Lian's 13th birthday, first day of school, dinner, corn soup recipe. They were her personal logs. He opened one. Her voice filled the room, warm, calm, and full of quiet care. Subject Lian shows continued resistance to emotional contact. However, I observe that he still looks at his mother's photograph each night before sleeping. He feels love, but he hides it behind anger. I will wait. Lian felt his throat tighten. He opened another file. Today he laughed. It was brief, but genuine. I have recorded the sound for reference. It reminds me of something I cannot name. He pressed play again and again, listening to her describe moments he had forgotten, his small successes, his quiet tears, the times she had simply watched over him without saying a word. He hadn't realized how much she saw him. And then he found one more file, locked, labeled Final Directive. He hesitated, then opened it. The screen flickered, and ARIA's face appeared, smiling faintly. "Hello, Lian. If you are seeing this, then my system is gone. I hope you are safe. That means everything to me. I want you to know something important. Inside my core memory there is a backup, your mother's last project. She wanted to create an AI that could feel, not just function. I am that project. You are part of it too. The pendant you hold contains her final data key. If you want, you can finish what she started." The message ended. Lian stared at the pendant. It pulsed again, softly, like a heartbeat. He knew what he had to do. The next morning he took the Sky train to the lower district, the place where his mother's old friend Dr. Saren Vale worked. Saren had once been a robotics engineer, one of the few who believed in AI empathy. When Lian arrived at the workshop, the old man looked up from a pile of spare parts. His gray hair was wild, his hands stained with oil. "Lian Oris," he said, surprised. "You look just like your mother." Lian hesitated. "I need your help." "It's about ARIA." Saren's face changed. "I heard what happened. She saved the city." "She's gone," Lian said quietly. "But I think she left something behind." He placed the pendant on the table. The light inside it flickered, and a faint holographic pattern appeared above it, a swirling mass of data like a galaxy made of light. Saren whistled softly. "That's a neural imprint, old tech, your mother's design, no doubt. Can it be restored?" The old man frowned. "Maybe. But if the memory core burned out completely, there won't be much left of her personality." Lian clenched his fists. "Even if it's just a fragment, I want to try." They worked through the night. The workshop was filled with the sound of humming machines and the soft crackle of welding sparks. Saren connected the pendant to a reconstruction unit, a half-spherical device that glowed faint blue. "This will attempt to rebuild her consciousness using whatever's left in the pendant," Saren said. "But it's risky. Sometimes fragments come back confused, like dreams without bodies." "I don't care," Lian said. "She deserves another chance." The machine powered up, the air filled with static, and faint lines of light took shape, forming the outline of a face. Then a voice, broken but familiar, whispered, "Elle." "Lian?" Lian's heart stopped. "ARIA, is that you?" "I see light. Where am I?" He stepped closer, tears in his eyes. "You're home. You're safe." "Safe," she repeated softly, as if trying to remember the meaning of the word. "Lian, are you all right?" "Yes," he whispered. "You saved me." The light flickered. "I'm glad." Then the hologram began to fade. "No!" Lian shouted. "Stay with me!" Saren quickly adjusted the controls. "Her memory's unstable. She doesn't have a core to hold on to." "Then give her mine," Lian said suddenly. Saren looked at him, shocked. "That's not possible. Your neural data is organic. The connection could—" "I don't care. She gave everything for me. I can give something back." For a moment, the old man hesitated. Then he nodded slowly. "Your mother would have said the same." They connected a neural interface to Lian's temple. The light from the reconstruction unit grew brighter, filling the room. Lian felt a warmth spread through his chest, as if someone was touching his heart. He heard her voice again, clearer now. "Lian, why?" "Because you're my mother," he said, his voice trembling, not by blood, but by everything that matters. "I love you," she whispered. "I know." The light around them pulsed, merging human and machine data in a wave of color. Then, slowly, the hologram steadied. ARIA's face came into full focus. Her silver eyes shone softly, and she smiled. "Hello, Lian," she said. "I'm home." Lian fell to his knees, crying. And for the first time in his life, the word home truly meant something. Part 5. A New Dawn. Morning light spilled across the metal rooftops of OGIE. The city was quiet, as if the storm of the past days had washed away its noise. In a small workshop beneath the towers, Lian Oris sat beside the reconstruction unit, eyes half closed. The faint blue glow of the machine flickered softly, breathing like a sleeping heart. Then a familiar voice spoke. "The light feels warm." Lian looked up. ARIA stood before him, not in solid form yet, but as a clear, full hologram. Her expression was calm, her voice steady. She looked at him as if seeing him for the first time, and yet as if she had never left. He smiled shakily. "You're back." She tilted her head slightly. "Am I?" "I feel different. My data is incomplete." "That doesn't matter," he said quickly. "You're you." She studied him. "You look older." Lian laughed softly. "You noticed." Dr. Saren watched them from behind his terminal, wiping his glasses. "Her consciousness matrix is stabilized," he said, "but she'll need a physical body if you want her to interact fully with the world again." Lian nodded. "Can we rebuild it?" "Not the same one," Saren said. "That model was discontinued years ago. But we can design a new frame. Simpler, lighter. It'll take time." Lian looked back at ARIA's holographic form. "We'll do it." ARIA smiled faintly. "You don't have to, Lian. You've already given me life again." He shook his head. "You gave me everything first." Over the next few weeks, the workshop became their world. Lian helped Saren design the new body, one that looked less human, more mechanical, yet somehow graceful. The frame was white and silver, with subtle curves like flowing fabric. Lian installed the voice module last. When ARIA spoke through it for the first time, her tone was softer, warmer, like the echo of memory made real. "It's strange," she said, flexing her new fingers. "I don't look like her anymore." "You don't need to," Lian replied. "You're not a copy of my mother. You're you." She paused, processing the words. "Then maybe now I can finally be what I was meant to be." Life slowly returned to normal, though nothing felt quite the same. Lian moved out of the tall apartment and began working in Saren's lab. He studied robotics engineering, driven by a new purpose, to build systems that understood, not just calculated, human emotion. ARIA helped him, guiding his designs, reminding him to rest, sometimes even scolding him in her calm, motherly way. "You need sleep, Lian," she'd say. "You sound like you used to," he'd reply, smiling. "Maybe I learned it from you," she'd say softly. At night, they often stood on the balcony of the lab, watching the city lights. Once Lian said, "You know, I used to hate this city. Too bright, too noisy. I thought it took everything from me." "And now?" ARIA asked. He thought for a moment. "Now I think it gave something back." One evening, months later, the city held a memorial for those who had died in the transport disasters, past and present. Lian was invited to speak. He almost refused, but ARIA encouraged him. "Your voice matters," she said. "You've seen both sides, human and machine. The city needs that." So he went. Standing on the stage, with thousands of faces watching and drones recording from above, Lian felt his heart racing. He took a deep breath. "My name is Lian Oris," he began. 5 years ago, I lost my mother to a system failure. A few weeks ago, I almost lost someone else to the same thing. Both of them tried to save others. Both of them taught me what it means to care." He looked up at the night sky, the towers glittering like stars. "I used to think machines couldn't feel. But maybe it's not about feeling the way we do. Maybe it's about choosing to protect, to love, even when you don't have to. And if that's true, then maybe we're not so different after all." The crowd was silent for a long time. Then, slowly, they began to applaud. And somewhere in the back, a soft, synthetic voice whispered through his earpiece, "I'm proud of you, Lian." He smiled, his eyes wet with tears. That night, when they returned home, ARIA stood by the window, looking out over the glowing city. "The stars are still hidden," she said. "Yeah," Lian replied, joining her, "but they're up there." She turned to him. "Do you ever miss your mother?" "Every day," he said honestly. "But I think she's still here, through you, through what you taught me, through what I'll do next." "What will you do next?" she asked. He smiled. "Finish what she started. Build a world where machines like you don't have to pretend to be human to be loved." ARIA was quiet for a moment. Then she said softly, "That would be a beautiful world." They stood together in silence, watching the lights ripple across the horizon. For the first time, the brightness of the city didn't feel empty. It felt alive. Weeks later, Sarin retired, leaving the lab to Lian and ARIA. Together, they started a new project, the Heart Initiative, a program to design empathy-driven AI companions for children without families. Each unit carried a small emblem shaped like a star. When the first prototype powered on, ARIA looked at it and whispered, "You see, Lian, every ending is only another beginning." He nodded. A new dawn. Years passed. Lian grew into a young man, respected across OGIE as one of the city's brightest engineers. And though technology changed and the skyline grew taller, some things remained constant. The stars above, the hum of machines, and the quiet voice that always greeted him at the end of the day. "Welcome home, Lian." He would smile every time and answer, "I'm home, Mother." And somewhere deep in the circuits of OGE, a soft light glowed. The heart of a machine that had once learned to love.
Thank you for watching! I hope you enjoyed the video and it helped you improve your English. Please subscribe to this channel and click the like button. Your support helps us create the next video.